top.
So, we doing this?
If we do, there goes moving to Paris.
We were never moving to Paris. We got this.
We're buying a house.
We're buying a house.
Let's buy a house.
Order a croissant. You'll feel French.
I do like croissants. Just donuts, fancy cousin. Can I get a croissant, please?
For my stats, nothing particularly came to mind, so I dumped them all into luck, because he can count himself fortunate that I don't just swallow a bullet from the 9mm that Doc Mitchell is about to give me. Finally, for my tag skills, I went with guns, barter, and speech. Guns is self-explanatory with their decent selection of weapons, and as for barter and speech, well, they do run a successful casino and hotel on the Vegas Strip, so making money and smooth-talking people is kind of their whole MO. You could argue I should have tagged melee weapons as they do have access to combat knives, and while that's true, in my countless slaughters of them over the years, I can barely recall any of them actually attempting to rush me with one, so I figured they weren't skilled enough with them to want to rely on them unless it was a last resort. You may have noticed I said the final part of creation this time was my tag skills and not traits. Well, that's because basic nameless NPCs don't get traits, so neither do I. Doc gives me the starting items related to my choices and I immediately discard them all, 1, because I'm roleplaying as an asshole, and 2, none of them are all that useful today. In full control, and I already noticed my first blunder of the run, was not tagging repair, as I could have used it to fix Doc Mitchell's broken 9mm submachine gun and get access to my first usable weapon. Well, at least I know where there is one, so if I level up or find a magazine and get my repair up to 25, I can swing back and pick it up. Not much of note in Good Springs, so I begin heading for Sloan. It's a decent location to get marked early on, has some free caps up for grabs, and as luck would have it, a Dean's Electronics book. It'll permanently raise my repair to 20, so I'm at least slightly closer to that submachine gun. After a bit of snooping around, it becomes very clear that there ain't much for me here either. I know of a few locations where suits can spawn, so I'm not too fussed about trying to track down one of those just yet.
Upgrade finished.
Weapons, though, would certainly help speed along the process of getting the ball rolling, and while I may not know anywhere to grab any of the guns off the top of my head, I do know that there's a combat knife in one of the tables at the Vicky and Vance Casino, so I was off to Prim. As per usual, the trip is uneventful, with just the usual Gecko and Radroach dispute. Making it to the town, and I effortlessly walk past the 2 worst convicts in history, as they don't manage to land a single shot on me, nor do they follow this completely naked, unarmed man into the casino to try and finish him off. I immediately grab the knife, but before I go to give them a blow, I decide to look around the casino for anything else that I can really use or sell. To my delight, there was a 9mm SMG just sitting out in the open in one of the unlocked safes. It was easy to carry out of sight and steal it without everyone gunning for me as well. I also stole and then bought some ammo for good measure. It's in a rather miserable condition, but I like to imagine the rusty barrel will rub off on the bullets and help them inflict some poison damage. Regardless of whether that would actually work, it is still competent enough to get the job done and dispatch the office patiently waiting for me back outside. I opt not to rescue Beagle just yet, figured I might save it for later if I end up needing to desperately grind for levels to get that riot shotgun. I do make a stop in Nash's house real quick to grab the Fixin' Things magazine. By reading this, I can use the extra temporary points to my repair to go back to Doc Mitchell's, fix up his 9mm, and then use it to repair my own. With no real sense of direction, I figured I can't go wrong just following my normal routine of heading through Hidden Valley to the shortcut. This was also the one and only time I made use of the combat knife during the entire run. Sure, the submachine gun would tear these bark scorpions a new one, but that little thing also guzzles its way through ammo, so I'm trying to conserve as much of that as I can for now should I run into a bigger threat. Squishing the scorpions moves me to level 2, and I just drop everything into guns and take rapid reload for my first perk. It's not necessary for the SMG, but I see myself getting some good use out of the sawn-off once I find one, and considering that gun needs to reload after every single shot, the less time I spend shooting shells, the better. No reason to mess into the so I also free to I decide to make a brief stop off the rest in one part, supposed to sell but also I am going to have to meet the brotherhood at some point, so grabbing the holocaust now means I have to do it sooner rather than later. Due to the latitude, I had the required guns so that was my next step. For whatever reason, right before I spoke to him, I decided to check the suitcase next to me and did forget about it, and would have it right next to the suitcase again, as mentioned, this is the only armor or clothing you can wear in this video. It's a bit, what's not sure. The only thing it does is gives you an extra 5 points of speech. While helpful in specific circumstances, I highly doubt it's going to come into play with the route that I'm slowly planning in my head. Anyway, back on track, we get straight to Al, and while he may not have any new weapons for us to make use of, he does have over 200 bullets from 9mm, as well as one in perfect condition. Thanks to what we took from the dead fiends and Brotherhood members from Refcon, we are easily able to afford both, while still having more than enough cash to spare for the next mission. The next in question being more gun runners, not over 64, just 9mm. My luck quickly turned around when we got on the free side though, as Mick and Ralph both have one. Ralph has even more ammo, but also sells me a sawn-off, which will more than likely be my go-to for those three encounters until we get the oh-so-busted riot shotgun. I also buy some glorious while I'm here too. We'll need this later to help with the murder. But 1,000 bullets left in about twice as many cans, I figured out we wouldn't have any ejected stress and get there.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Grove is being desecrated.
First up, I go and see Mr. House. He tells me about Benny and naturally, not so much bidding, but rather one of my brothers who lived in before was completely uncontested on the strip, so that means it's bye-bye to the other casinos. Assaulting a casino with nothing but a 9mm SMG and a sawn-off shotgun may sound like a bad idea. Correct. Yeah, for some reason, I never took into consideration that I am just as weak as defensive as we are this research led to a more damage than I expected of it. I do have my one plan. Naturally, it's just a matter of having my balls until the prince sure, I should also laugh and stop it alive. Took me gold and it didn't take too much longer when I start having these drops to the point where the time goes on. That is a alley weapon, and therefore when it's time to pick up a gun, end up outside bots I don't really bother trying to generally don't have as for the main man himself, well, since I have to follow the intended path, this means we'll be waiting for top of the stairs and blackjack. Regardless, I'm completely unfazed by the target because I'm running. Me, a little like snow path before he has a chance to tell you. Once the battle is over, I gain a few press the receptionist to get the ball rolling in this forward. Speaking of, once I get said info, I can ask one of my fellow Chino, and in doing so,
Insufficient
summon
gold.
him like the hellspawn that he is.
Insufficient gold.
As he turns to walk away, I swipe his journal, and now is where I go down a dark path and follow this quest in a way I have never done. By taking the book to the guard at the door and informing them I have something for the bosses, I am allowed to access the top floor, where I can then find Big Sal and give him the rundown on the situation with Cucino and his imminent betrayal. Considering we are all mobsters here, it doesn't take a genius to figure out how Cucino was going to pay for his crimes against Gomorrah and its people. Bonus points for me is that I can root around the remains to get myself my next weapon,
Upgrade
a 44
finished.
revolver. After this, I talk with Sal once again and agree to help him with whatever other plans the murders have at present. He tells me to go find Clandon and Troy from the casino and help them with whatever tasks they give me. I start with Clandon as I've already finished the task. He wants to make fluorine gas bombs people in a small area fire. And now you know why we call that handing that over to this psychopath is literally all he requires, so it's on to Troy. His request is a little more involved, by which I mean he requires me to leave the Biggs area entirely to go and grab a shipment of weapons that was recently stolen by a small group of fiends. They're out near Cook and his band, so it's not like I'm travelling all that far. I get some use of Cucino's revolver here that's easily the best weapon I'll have access to in terms of fighting at long range. The only problem is my LA mentality strikes again, and I begin approaching them like an idiot. Recall that fiends like to carry laser and plasma weapons, and it should come as no shock to you that I immediately crumble after about 3 hits. At least my deaths don't faze me this time around. Overall, each one is just another market corpse to the pile, and that pleases me greatly. Next go around, I stay at medium to long range and make use of the revolver by missing 90% of my shots on stationary targets. I then switch over to the SMG, as spraying and praying is a viable strategy, assuming you have the ammo to compensate you for your recklessness. With them dead, I can return the weapons from this locker on the ground. You know, I've always wondered with this before. Legitimately never used this kind of quest, let alone one for these presents. Back to Gomorrah once more, I hand over the gun to Detroit. He thanks me for my work. I'll tell Big Sal when I inform him that I have helped his new presence. The Emertas are now all but ready to attack the strip once they get Sons Madame, so that they may gain complete control over it and increase their power. But hey, let's not worry about the horrible ramifications of our actions. By doing things this way, we can get a new shiny Pip-Boy. I also restock on ammo while I'm here, and then to get the platinum chip back to house, because I like it. For my final act on the strip, I make my way over to the white gloves and give them the same courtesy I can here. On the bright side, this is miles easier than the tops. It's all down to the fact that the white gloves are all horribly optimized for melee, and they seem to have the trouble with move in on range targets. Caesar will be mad at me, sure, but hey, we served the Emertas first here today, and everyone else second. So hard. Not even funny. I do one final round of shopping before pressing on, and you know it, I was able to procure myself a SMG. I genuinely love this little gun. I've since followed free, so I'm actually weirdly excited that I get to use it, especially if I find something awesome. It can pack quite a punch to get this. As we run complete without him, as I am south, I bump into our good old He gets the same greeting that he always receives. Killing him gets me into the full combat, so I fill that need at the nearby dry lake as I begin slaughtering the fire ants. This is where I finally got some actual use of the 44. And I do mean proper
Research
this time.
finished.
I don't particularly feel like getting original by this. Toughness is great and all, but I don't have any actual fire resistance.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
didn't take long to take them all, and now I'm ever so slightly. I contemplated all the ways in which to take the saber path, but I figured I'd got all those weapons for a reason, and well, it's a good use. Because the doors were terrifying no matter what saber path, let's be real. Once more though, that saves my bacon, as coupling it with 10mm allows me to make very short work of it. And also taking some steady for good measure, I do have to be careful. My game plan when facing the wolf focus on the wings normally is to cripple them, then they lose the ability to fly, and by that stage we've essentially this time though, I got lucky enough to trip with the fire and very good to not much else happened. Nelson, as well as Billy and the quest, I walked out. Arriving at the fort, and just before I was seen, I managed to buy an upgrade from the SMG. This will reduce the spread of it a bit, and make it slightly easier to hit things with the range. For some reason, I don't hate it. Right, so, Caesar gives me the usual spiel of what he wants me to work with him. Down into the bunker and destroy the rock. You know, I always found it weird that he didn't send some of his men down to investigate the very second he had to take a chip view of the entrance. Whatever. Of course, the house has a game here, and demands that you work with him. But here, perhaps, working with him. We are a good little ship state today, so we need to work towards furthering the other which means Caesar is our hero. The handful of protectrons in Earth are already classified as defense, so it's not long before I'm brewing 200 years of breakfast by the zoning I tried talking to others who but he just refused to talk. But turns out that's not the case. Well, we shall be having a proper face-to-face encounter soon enough, as Caesar's next task is to pull the plug on our hard. Things seem like they are going to be simple to notify, but bureaucrats like legend are not immediately trying to find them. That all changes, mind you, instantly as soon as I shoot myself on the 10th floor, as I am stormed in from them by a whole group of neighbors and television. Not wanting to back down, I threw myself at it a couple more times, and while I managed to fight back and take it down, I am always unceremoniously shot to bits or whatnot. To be fair, I have no one to blame for this but myself. I didn't have to break the ship back to but there you go. My grand strategy using the fact that they seemingly cannot pass. Basically, I poked my head through the doors to get blasted for a bit, and then once I started to take a little too much damage, I would slink back to the elevator, leave, go to the bed, and then return ready to turn down once more. After doing this a couple of times, I somehow managed to de-aggro the few surviving securities. House still doesn't speak to me, so it's not like I call them off, and I surrender. Always nice when a good works in favor of the I tell the non at home that it's just business before promptly ending their miserable life with dishonor. I am now level 10, and this time I take the miss. Already have 10 points in luck, so having this under my belt is only 1 bonus for the I am a glass cannon, so I may also lose out as much damage as I could. With House out of the picture, it's time to return to Caesar and continue with the power. Although I did end up installing having a business with otherwise I would love to hear what my next favorite line is also Vegas. I do another round of these off. Caesar, and get my next passive and eliminate the one I will the ladder. Don't watch me off with both will involve helping them out, so I figured this would at least make things a bit different. Raquel, Pearl, all get a face full of rough shots with very exact flavors. Zombies are dead, you can't hide it. Even they're smart enough to come out. Orders, the resident wants to be sitting in the place of the boss. War, and you're already on the game. Actually, that is happen. For someone younger than I know some riot shotguns spawn in all 34 and all the escape routes. But to be blunt, I really did not feel like traveling through that today. So I was doing things the old-fashioned way, grinding XP until I was a high enough level for the gun to be brought into the vendor location. Luckily, the Gunrunner's Vendotron will always sell one, in full condition no less, once you reach level 16, so at least there is a silver lining there, and that I know I'll get one for certain. It's just gonna take a little time.
This is gonna sound odd. What?
Unicorns are real, and I don't think we're supposed to be here.
I want that horn in my hand.
That horn was rather girths.
Never seen so much wind in my life.
Research base.
Alright, may have underestimated the sheer time of that grind, so let's rapid fire what I did to finally get 16. Started my normal experience, went over to the Blackwood Crater to fully descend hard and low, followed by a trip up the mountain to a Tabitha and her nitrogen in one place. Like mentioned, the 10mm SMG is a beast, and I love it. This got me to level 12, where I then was able to take my first required shotgun turn. My skill points at this stage kind of is getting top grind and different medicine.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold.
Old habits die hard, so I cleared out some more ants, this time Nipton, not as much XP as the fire ants from earlier, but we take it yet. I would have done some busy work for the NCR if it wasn't long, but let's just say we weren't exactly on speaking terms anymore. In fact, I am now shot on sight. At least it's nice to be wanted. I figured the beams were messing with the murdered before with those guns, so that means it would be in my best interest to get them out. By which I mean I accidentally assault on all three and eradicated them off the face of the top. Honestly, much smoother than I hoped. Seeing how the NCR long targeted the stake, I went about disrupting some of the plans, whether not shooting on sight or hitting the can of the city against the targets. Oddly enough, I was able to save the hostages and the can left in free on the floor. I made my way from Red Rock. Working with the can. Rather, I want access to their armory, they sell a frankly absurd amount of ammo. Probably the best I'm going to get, but it's got access to the money. May not have the last yet, but it's in the stock on the shelf at the time. Plus, the journey there is the categories of vectors and big ones. Could have a random keeper and even fun. That's worse, it's normal people were going to escape the fight, so I shifted focus to get up some well-done ones out of the They had a couple of free ones, which was totally marked for, but I enrolled them in the back of the No, I learned the fight, so I'm going to find the place to kick it. Essentially, I returned to the free side and made doubly sure that again, the Americas would come out on top by a process of elimination. The Legion would no doubt drive out the same regardless of my involvement, but I figured I could help speed it. As for the garrison and the atomic ramblers, well, while smaller scale, it's another casino, and we sure as hell cannot have that sitting like a right in the backyard. Ever so close to the division level, I realized I never finished off the other three team leaders, so went about dealing with them, and before you know it, we were level 16. Had a minor scale with shotguns in spawn for gunrunners, but turns out I just hadn't given enough time to stop. After traveling away and waiting a bit, I picked up marching back and purchased a riot shotgun in pristine condition. With the weapon in hand, I made a few pit stops before confronting the trouble. Mainly to stock up on ammo one final time before the end game, as well as purchasing some healing supplies. No way around it, I had damage, so I'll need something to keep my feet where they should have. The plan was to go in and hope that they stay back for a few days, so that I could keep them all knocked down and slowly deal with them one at a time. The rapid fire of the riot shotgun certainly helps. After all, the faster I can fire, the faster I can trigger. The damage output is fine, definitely miles better than the other weapons. The only strange thing I noticed was that headshots weren't doing as much damage as I thought, and unless I was that, then just tearing through their helmets would in Karen's world. I guess it's maybe that in bats, every single part of the spray is connecting with them and not spreading out the wide arc. Honestly, couldn't say. All I knew was that the strategy had now been changed, that I was to try and kick them out of the bats, and then proceed to progress and knock them down until my action was progress enough for me to get a headshot one shot. I'm talking perfect plan. Believe me, it wasn't. Attack me on sight. Works for me, so I purchase the tools and I move the level butt stack to some ice season, which is new loose on light for me and well, unfortunately for him, my simplicity is but I also run this guy as it goes against the character. In other words, I'm not going to get eventually, the city is trying to feel successful. No matter how bad, yes, Caesar will interview and also take part in the figured I'm prepared to do what I can be, so I agreed to it. Despite thwarted by the knockdown. You don't need to be close for it to work, you just need to know how to raise somebody or to have a effect. Once I sweep them off their feet, I just rush over and give them the old four back making matters a little bit easier is the fact that they've got any super swift I mean, what? It's pretty good to see in general and it's wonderful. So, anyway, this is the real
is being desecrated.
I stand ready. Blood of these.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold.
I stand ready.
Insufficient gold. Our sacred grove is being desecrated. Insufficient gold. An allied champion has fallen. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold.
How long could this thing be?
Our sacred grove is being desecrated. Research finished. Insufficient gold.
I stand ready.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
I smell magic in the air.
Research finished. Our sacred grove is being desecrated. Research finished. Our sacred grove is being desecrated. An allied champion has fallen.
I stand ready.
Research sacred grove is being desecrated. An allied champion has fallen.
These inhuman dogs must be slain.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Research finished. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. An allied champion has fallen. Our sacred grove is being desecrated. Research finished.
I stand ready.
Research finished. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold. Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
I tend more.
Research finished. Research finished. Our sacred grove is